Yo guys, the time has finally come, and today we're going to be talking about commenting. Now this is probably one of the most easiest, straightforward things we can talk about, but it's also will make a huge difference in your programming. It can be a make or break moment almost. Alright, so let's talk about what commenting is. Commenting is great if you were trying to work on a project and you need to leave notes to yourself, or if you're working on a team project and need to leave notes to your team. It also comes in handy if you're working and you have a bunch of errors and trying to isolate and find where that error is, so you can simply use commenting to kind of find where the error is. Now, without further delay, let's jump into our terminal and Visual Studio and see how we can use commenting in our code. Alright, so like always, what you're going to want to do is open up a brand new console project, and if you don't know how to do that, please refer to my very first video, like I usually say, basic C# syntax, because a lot of this won't make sense, although commenting today is pretty straightforward, so you might not need too much prior knowledge, but I still strongly recommend that you do watch the rest of the videos. Alright, so without further delay, let's get started with commenting. Alright, so how do we even do commenting? Well, let's say I have a simple thing printed out to the terminal, console.writeLine, and we're just going to do hello world because, and that didn't completely register. Let me just fix that. WriteLine, and let me just put that in, and two parentheses, and fix that. And we're going to do hello world. And let's not just forget the console.read key because we need it or else we can't run. Oops. Alright, so that's all in. If I, let me just fix that world. There we go. So now if I run this code, we can see in the terminal, we're going to get hello world. But let's say I don't want that anymore, but I don't want to delete it because I spent the time writing it out. If I just do a double / we're going to see that turns green. Now that means that it has been successfully commented out. And now if I run this, we're going to see that nothing's printed to the terminal. So, people might ask, why would you not delete it? And, well, you don't want to delete it because, let's say you did write out a much larger program or a larger line of code, and you still might need that for later. Simply just do the two / to comment that out, so that way it's still there, but it won't be incorporated in your code. And then maybe later on, you can just take these two / out, and now it's simply back in your code, and if I run it now, we're going to see hello world. But let's take a look at this on a much larger scale. Alright, so here I've just quickly written up a very quick script just for kind of like a name game or whatever, and essentially it just asks you for your name at kind of breakfast, and we use interpolated strings to just kind of print out the names, output the inputs pretty much. So then I have kind of intentionally left a slight little error in here, and I'm going to show you how we can use commenting to isolate that variable to make things just a bit easier. So let's say I'm trying to look for this error, and I'm like, okay, could it be in this line? You can comment that out, and the errors are disappear, so no. Is it in this line? No, because the errors are still not disappearing. But if we go down to this line, we can comment that out, and we see, oh, the errors have disappeared. And this could also be helpful, even if you do know where the error is, it still can be helpful because if you want to just see that your code running without, because obviously you can't run it if there's errors. If you try to run it with errors, you're going to get this message here, would you like to run the last successful build? And obviously that's not helpful. So you have to comment it out first to kind of just see what your program looks like when you're running it. Now, the final example of how useful this could be is if you're working in projects with teams, or you just have to simply leave a note to yourself because, let's say, you had to go somewhere and you just can't finish the project right now. So simply, let's say this section needed some more, just needed a little bit more to it. We weren't happy as a team with what we have here so far. Instead of just writing out on the script, add something to this later and getting all these errors and just messing up your code entirely, you simply just do the two / and say work on this section. Let me just fix that. This section later. And that's just a great note to the team about, oh, you have to fix this. And as you can see, there's no errors here. Now, if I did take this out, you're going to see we're going to get a whole list of errors, and yeah, it's just not good in general. And also, even just a note to yourself, so like in the integers video when we had to do condition, command, and condition, command, and the other one, I don't remember what it was. It might have been condition, command, execute, or whatever. But you just can simply kind of initialize those rules in the comment. So like condition and it was initialize, condition, and command. And those were the 3 rules. And let's say, you just kind of kept forgetting them. You can simply just make a slight comment here and put, condition or whatever it is, initialize, condition, and command. So ICC just for an abbreviation. But pretty easy, pretty helpful. It's kind of a make or break almost, like I mentioned in the intro, for your team. Because if commenting weren't here, it would be a lot of work kind of communicating back and forth, or even just leaving notes to yourself so for future reference. Alright, so with that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Pretty short, pretty simple, and very straightforward. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video, because this is the second to last video, sadly, because Tech Tuesday, well, the 8-part series is almost over. The last video, I have something pretty cool planned. We're going to kind of build a big project together. We'll just see how it goes. I might do a live stream for it, but that's pretty much it for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.